In this last section, we're going to talk about managing and troubleshooting your keys with Heroku. Now, if you're a Windows developer and have never used SSH keys before, some of this can seem a little bit strange. And I'm not going to give a comprehensive introduction to SSH and SSH keys. I'm just going to talk about using those keys specifically with Heroku and how to manage them. In order to deploy your code to Heroku, Heroku will validate your identity using an SSH key. So the first thing you will often need to do is simply send your keys to Heroku. Usually this is as simple as typing in Heroku keys add. This will prompt the Heroku tool belt to look through your keys, and if it finds only one key, it will automatically send that key up to Heroku. If it finds multiple SSH keys, then it will prompt you on which one to send. I've only got one key, so typing in Heroku keys add will simply send that one key all the way up to Heroku. For Windows users, your SSH keys are stored in your user directory in the .ssh folder. Now, if you're a Windows developer and you haven't used SSH keys before, you may not actually have any SSH keys. If that's the case, you'll need to start by creating a new SSH key for yourself. You can do this by typing in ssh-keygen. This command is available after you install Git on your computer. When I run this command, it will prompt me as to where I should put that file. In this case, the default prompt doesn't do any good because it's going to be a location that doesn't exist. So since I'm on Windows, I've got to specify the exact path out to my key file. And I'll call this key id_rsa2. When it asks for a passphrase, leaving the passphrase empty is just fine. The only reason to put a passphrase in is in case your workstation is not secure and other people have access to the drive. At this point, it's created my key. It creates two files, one that's the private key and one that's the public key. Now that I've created that key, I can type in Heroku keys add, and at this point that will let me upload my keys to Heroku. Now if you have some problems, there's a couple other Heroku commands that can be useful. Typing in just Heroku keys will list the keys that Heroku has for you. Typing in Heroku keys clear will remove all keys from Heroku. And typing in Heroku keys remove, and then the email address that's associated with the key. In the case of the key that I just created, that would be joe@joe-i7-2. That will remove the key with that name. Occasionally you can get into a situation where even though Heroku has your key, you still can't upload your files. In this case, the best solution is to go into your SSH directory, back up your keys to somewhere else in case they're used for other purposes, remove them from that directory, generate a brand new key, then use Heroku keys clear to remove all the keys from Heroku, and then add the new key. Oftentimes, clearing out all the existing keys out of your SSH directory is unnecessary, and just creating a brand new one, clearing out all the existing keys from Heroku using the Heroku keys clear command, and then uploading just the new key that you've created will be enough. If you're on a Windows box, there's an additional step that you may have to take in order to get your keys to work with Heroku, and that is that you may need to copy your keys into the SSH subfolder of your Git directory. On my computer, my Git directory is in my C program files x86 Git. Within that, I've created a .ssh directory and copied the keys there. This is necessary in order for me to deploy my code to Heroku. So if you're on a Windows box and are having problems, you may want to try this as well. If you're on Linux or OS X, that's probably a step you won't have to take. So there's a basic introduction to managing and troubleshooting keys with Heroku.